Homan didn't warn you. He's been warning about this for years. The former acting ICE director, kind enough to join us now. Tom, good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you, Neil.
What do you make of this? I mean, yet another reminder that it's not only the migrants we should be worrying about, but the stuff they're bringing here.
Look, the fentanyl, the public safety crisis and the public health crisis are probably more important than the illegal immigration crisis, because we got well over 100,000 Americans that died from overdoses. The DEA is on record that 95% of that fentanyl comes across the southwest border. And why is that? Because of this immigration crisis, up to 70% of Border Patrol agents are no longer on the line. They're in facilities processing, or they're transporting to the hospital, or they're transporting to airports and bus stations. 70% of their manpower is not on the line. So the criminal cartels take advantage of that, and that's when we move the drugs across. And add to that the national security crisis, Neil. Border Patrol's already put on record they've arrested 50 people off the FBI screening database. As of today, we got over 875,000 gotaways. These are recorded gotaways on traffic, cameras, drones, and central traffic. So if you're, how many of those 875,000 were carrying fentanyl? How many of those on the terrorist screening database? That should concern every American. This immigration crisis has turned into a public safety crisis, a public health crisis, and a national security crisis.
Also, as you predicted, Tom, a while back, the complexion of those coming into the country, and migrants, most Americans think, oh, they're all Mexican, or they're coming from just south of the Mexican border, Guatemala, places like that. Better than 100 countries were represented in some of these latest waves. Does Mexico just let that go?
Well, Border Patrol has arrested people from 161 countries since Joe Biden became president, but Mexico needs to step up. Now, under the Trump administration, the Trump administration, had Mexico, #1, enforce their own immigration laws. It's actually illegal in the country of Mexico to traffic in women and children, and they also told them to stop issuing these transit visas. It's illegal to go through Mexico on the way to the United States, to transit Mexico without what they call a transit visa. And Mexico still issuing these by the thousands. So Mexico is not assisting at the level that could be assisting to help secure this border.
So when the Mexican government or the Mexican president, more to the point, Tom, says, well, we've got promised these work incentives and others to those coming here to Mexico, to stay in Mexico, obviously those making their way north have said, yeah, that's fine, but we can do much better in the United States, right?
Absolutely. Look, I get what the president of Mexico is doing, but these people are coming to the United States. And the sad thing is, I see a lot of these news reports saying, the remain in Mexico stopped people from claiming asylum. No, it didn't. It just had them wait in Mexico until they had their hearing. But people need to understand the immigration court data clearly says the last decade, nearly 9 out of 10 Central Americans who claimed asylum at the border never got relief from U.S. courts because they either didn't show up or they didn't qualify. That's 9 out of 10. So they may be seeking asylum, but do they actually qualify for asylum? About 90% do not.
So, Tom, just to put a fine point on this, those who are now not allowed to remain in Mexico but here, their cases are adjudicated here. There's such a demand for these court filings that they can wait for years. To your point again, we can't echo that enough. The fact that they will show up for that is grim when you just look at a normal time frame. But now, when you're many years out, it's almost impossible.
You're exactly right. Less will show up. However, here's the point that really matters. Even if 50 to 60% show up, the Homeland Security Life Cycle Report, which you can see on the internet, the Secretary's own report that looks at the last decade, clearly shows for those that 9 out of 10 that lose their case, how many actually leave? Well, if you're an unaccompanied alien child, you leave 3% of the time. If you're a family group, you leave 6% of the time. If you're a single adult, you're 22% are either left or are planning to leave. So the bottom line is, it's not about how many show up in court. It's about how many actually follow the court's order and gets removed. If 90% lose their case, get order removed, and 3 to 6% leave, that shows these people are staying in the United States, going in hiding. waiting for the next amnesty or something. But the data clearly shows the remaining in Mexico made sense because they had to wait there for the hearing. And if they lost, they're immediately removed because we got them. But if let them in the United States catch and release, this secretary, this administration knows they got the same data I just gave you. They know by releasing them and not detaining them, the chance of them leaving, even if they get order removed, are very low.
And that's even if we can follow and track them where they are for potentially years. That's an impossible task. Tom, thank you very much. Very good seeing you again.